So we decided to make hope the theme for this year's summit. And we could not think of a more fitting Tulsan to help explore this theme and MC today's events than the amazing Emeka Nnaka. Really, that's a thing. Hashtag amazing Emeka. Ellen DeGeneres coined it when he recently appeared on her show last summer. Emeka Nnaka is a professional motivational speaker and leading advocate for individuals with physical challenges. He brings a message of determination, inspiration, and hope to audiences of all ages, young and old. He will tell you himself a little more about his personal story and why it might be relevant to today's theme. But I'd like to highlight that Emeka has been an ambassador for the Tulsa Area United Way. He leads the Spinal Cord Injury Support Group at the Center for Individuals with Physical Challenges, where he also provides personal training for persons with disabilities. He has served as a youth advisor and men's ministry coordinator for Victory Christian Church and is a participant in Leadership Tulsa's Thrive Tulsa Class 2. He graduated with his bachelor's degree in rehabilitation services from Langston University and has his master's in human relations from Oklahoma University in Tulsa. As a speaker, coach, and advocate, Emeka inspires others to remain hopeful through life circumstances, love one another well, and pursue their best possible future. And with that, I give you Emeka Nnaka and the 2019 Good News Summit Celebration of Hope in Tulsa.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Wendy, that was great. I appreciate that. So it is my honor to be this year's MC. When I was approached with it by Andrew and Wendy, I was like, oh, I'm definitely doing that. I was here last year and got to meet all the great individuals that presented and got to hear some of them from out there. And it's like, I knew without a shadow of doubt that this year I was going to be a part of this. So before I get started with my MCing job, I'm going to share with you a little bit of my story and why hope is such a powerful thing and why we embody this thing. Like she said, well, like I'm going to say, I'll tell you, people do call me Amazing Emeka now. I got to correct them. People are like, are you awesome? Like, no. Hey, it's not awesome. It's amazing. Get it straight. I'll start with this. When I was young, my mom named me Emeka. Emeka means do great things in Nigeria, in Igbo in Nigeria. And I knew that as I grew older, I wanted to live up to my namesake. This was my plan and this was my goal. As I grew up, I had different circumstances that affected me. I went to Nigeria and lived for a while. I came back to Georgia, and as I was going through high school, I was looking for what was it that I was going to do with my life. I'm 18, 19, trying to figure out how am I going to do something great. My mom and dad raised a big boy. I am 6'5", over 200 pounds. And when I made the decision to move to Tulsa to go to school, or Roberts University, there was this thing in the back of my head that I wanted to still do, sports. Sports is a big part of my life growing up, and it was something that I wanted to continue doing, and it was the avenue in which I was going to do something great. As a high school athlete, as a semi-pro athlete in the state of Georgia, when I met kids and they see, this professional athlete in front of them, I saw how that lit them up and how just my presence was something that they were in awe of. And so, every kid says they want to be a professional football player, basketball player, they want to be a professional sports, athlete. And few people attain that, but few people, get there. And so when I moved here, I got the chance to join a semi-pro football team, and it was it. We're talking about the moment that I've been waiting for my entire life. Academia was not my strong suit. I went to ORU, and I racked up a lot of expensive Fs, to say the least. I transferred to TCC, where I racked up a lot of cheaper Fs. Academia, not my thing. And when I started playing football for this team, this was that new chance, that chance for a new start and a brighter future. Won a championship in 2008, 2009, that was going to be the next thing. It was going to be do this, go to another school, and look at my chance at going to the NFL and making a great life. Fortunately for me, in a game in 2009, I made a tackle, I broke my neck, and I suffered a spinal cord injury. A lot of people think that my life changed when my accident happened, and that's not true. I had my accident, spent 10 days in ICU in Arkansas, came back to Tulsa where I would begin the process of rehabilitation. And after 3 months of being in hospital, for me, being in hospital, I knew that when I got out of the hospital, my life was going to be, the same or even better. Like, people break bones, you wear a cast, it heals, and then you go back to doing your thing. I saw people break their necks, wear a neck brace, and I'm going to go back to doing my thing. This was my plan. And if anyone's ever been in the hospital, you go to the hospital with an expectation. I'm broken, you're going to fix me. I'm hurt, you're going to heal me. And so when the doctor came into my room and said, here are your discharge papers, you're free to go back to your life, that did not make any sense to me, because at the age of 21, my life was not a life dreamed on wheels. I was supposed to walk out of this hospital and not be wheeled out of it. And so now began the darkest time of my life, with no sense of direction, no sense of what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go. I was so used to being the strong guy, the enforcer, the person in the group that if all else failed, I would just use my physical ability. I would find something to do with my physicality. I was 6'5", 240. You don't just find people walking around that big. Rocky Bright is in here. He's that big, but you're not going to find a lot of people that big just walking around. And so I was very proud of all the work that I put into being this size, all the work that I put into being this fast, and now my life has just gone up in smoke. So fast forward 7 months, and someone gives me the opportunity to volunteer at a local youth group, and out of sheer just not having any idea what to do, I said yes. I volunteered, and things started to change in my life. There was a different kind of pep to my step. I started going to the Center for Individuals with Physical Challenges, and there I found myself with other individuals who were just like myself. Life was just handing them the worst it has to offer, but they were doing something different. There was like this thrive that they had, this zeal for life that they had, and I found myself in a place where I was just trying to survive. And so I was inspired by them, and I said, you know what? I can do something more with my life. Went back to school, and I started getting involved in the community. Worked for the United Way and did countless presentations on just raising money for different organizations that were in the city. It led me to being right here in this very room, giving a presentation for the United Way to a group of OU teachers. And at this time, I wasn't done with my undergrad, and I was looking for a master's degree program. And at the time, Dre Clancy was the president and had put out to the room, like, hey, Emeka's looking for the master's degree program. And from that moment, every OU person I've ever known was just, hey, you should go to OU, you should go to OU, you should go to OU. And so I was like, all right, let me go to OU. So I came here and did my master's degree program. And at the time, my life, things started to kind of pick up in which there was this difference in how I approached the life that I was living. In the time that I worked with these young people, I will never forget the moment in which two of the students that I had under my wing had cornered me, and they were just talking to me, and they said, one said, man, Mr. Nnaka, I'm so glad that you got hurt. And I looked at him like, hey man, what you mean? He was like, oh man, that came out wrong. I didn't mean it like that. I was like, yeah, you might want to clean that up. He was like, what? He was like, yeah, what I mean is that, here we are about to enter college. I'm about to get married, and I can tell you that I would not be the man I am today if it had not been for you. And those words were so powerful to me because in that moment, I was still struggling to find what my place was in this world. After that moment, without a shadow of a doubt, I knew that my role in this world is in service of other people. And that there's always pain, or there's always purpose in pain, even if that purpose is not for yourself. And so as I began to do more work in the community, as I began to find different areas to serve, and as I began to do more schooling, here I was introduced to positive psychology. And I took a class with Dr. Chan Hellman, it was a positive psychology class. And we were studying all of these different areas of positive psychology: gratitude, resilience. And one week we talked about hope. And if anyone knows Dr. Chan, he's the hope guy. And so he was talking with so much passion about this, and he kind of laid it out. And hope is comprised of three things. The science of hope is that hope is comprised of three things. It is attainable goals, pathways to attain those goals, and agency, meaning the grit to get to those goals. And so he taught me this thing, and for the life of me, up until this point, I had been wondering, what is it? Like, what is it about my life? How have I gotten to this point? When I speak to a crowd and someone says, I'm inspired, what is that? Where does that come from? And when he laid out this hope theory, that was it. Hope is the answer. Because as I look back on my life and the time in which I lost hope, I realized that here I was with this goal of doing great things. And for me, my pathway to doing great things was playing football. And I had all the willpower to get through the two-a-days, to get through the practice, the days that things hurt, the days that you find out about muscles that you never know you had. Like, I had all of that. And so when it comes to making a difference through football, I was extremely hopeful. But what happens when that pathway of football gets closed? What happens when you break your neck on the football field and you're paralyzed from your chest down and that is gone from you? I lost hope. And when I started to serve in the youth group, one thing that I realized was that football was just one pathway. That making a difference was still a goal. That I just had to create other pathways to get it. And when I came to school was a whole nother pathway. Serving in the youth group was a whole nother pathway. Being nice to the cashier at the grocery store was a whole nother pathway. And so now, my ultimate goal of making a difference and doing great things with my life, now I've got a whole new pep in my step. I've got all new, I'm super high on hope. And we've all heard that where there's a will, there's a way, right? Meaning that if I want to get through those doors, I will do everything I can to break through those doors. Something about hope theory also introduced me to willpower and way power, meaning also if I open up a way, that might generate somebody's will. And so as I started to study and I looked out into the community and looked at different people populations that are people just like me. Like for example, I go to the Center for Individuals with Physical Challenge. So I'm around a lot of people with differing disabilities, different abilities, whose hope it is to live the purposeful life. But there are pathways through government, pathways through society that are closed to them. And I looked at, so what do we do what happens when we remove these barriers? When we add a ramp to a place that just has stairs, that generates a way, it generates way power, it generates willpower. And I started looking at hope. That's what the community needs. That's what our city needs. And so with this summit, my hope, all pun intended, for this summit, is that we all come together and as we listen to our great presenters, tell you guys about the good work that they're doing. You look at it through the lens of hope and see what barriers are they removing? What goals do people have that they are getting to through these agencies? And also look around and see the people that are doing great work out there in the audience and see how, when it comes to doing good work, it's not easy work. And so draw on the fact that it's hard sometimes, but we are all here for each other because we all live in the city and we want to water the grass where we're at, right? And so also in doing that, we're going to have a collective impact in our city. I think Tulsa is one heck of a hopeful city because this city has seen its dark days. And we are, as individuals that live in the city, I can attest that we're all doing what we can to further this place. And I know that Tulsa is not even the same place that it was 2 years ago. It's thriving, and it's only getting better because of the individual faces that I'm seeing in this room. And so as we get ready for a great day, I also want to leave you with a quote that the late Dennis Levy said, that sometimes our role in life is to lend hope to others until they can find it for themselves. I am an individual that has borrowed hope time and time again. And now I'm in a position where I can lend it to others so they can find it for themselves.